everybody, so I am very excited to be bringing you another Makeup Detective trademark video. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I have done a couple of these so far. It's just where I look at trademarks for different companies and look at the different products they have trademarked, things that have yet to be released, and I speculate on what those things could be, what they could look like, if we might actually get them. They're just meant for fun. Obviously, I don't know for sure if any of these things are going to come to fruition, but it's fun to speculate, and that's why I enjoy doing these videos so much. And I will be doing a sister series to my Makeup Detective videos once I have gathered enough information about products that have actually released so that I can kind of show what the products actually ended up being. So I asked about this in a previous video when I mentioned a trademark I had found about Natasha Denona. Fortunately, for me, and for my interest in this topic, Natasha Denona trademarks a lot of things. Not every brand trademarks things. Not every brand trademarks everything. It does seem like Natasha Denona trademarks a lot of things. So the first 3 new trademarks I found were for mascara. Each one of these trademarks is for mascara as it is specifically listed. Sometimes a trademark is a very general trademark term, sometimes it's for a very specific product. So we have Master Swipe Mascara, we have Lash Identity, and we have Lash Vision. So 3 different mascaras with 3 different names. I don't think we're gonna see all 3 of these. It seems a little bit like overkill to me to have 3 mascara launches at one time. However, it could happen. I don't understand the benefit of it, because assuming the packaging is fairly similar, what would be different about it would be the actual mascara formula and the brush, which could all go under one specific mascara name. I like the Master Swipe Mascara. I think that fits with Natasha's branding. Lash Identity kind of sounds more like it would be like a line of false lashes. Like, this is your lash identity with specific styles of falsies, than with an actual mascara. And Lash Vision, I don't really see that as being a specific mascara. Just to me, it's not a name that I feel like fits with a lot of other Natasha products like Master Swipe Mascara would. And there could still be different types. You know, there could be a different brush, there could be a different formula, there could be a waterproof or a not or whatever, but it just seems like a lot of trademarks at one time for mascara, and I was kind of thrown by that because I wasn't expecting it. But all 3 trademarks do specify mascara, so we could be seeing all 3 or seeing them launched, maybe paired with other releases. There is going to be a partner to the Glam palette, and this is the Glam face palette. So this is going to be a face palette that would pair with the cooler toned Glam eyeshadow palette. This is kind of exciting to me because I think that this will be cooler blushes and highlighters. So most of the time these face palettes, what they have been recently has been 2 cream products, like a cream blush and a cream highlighter, and a powder blush and a powder highlighter. And that, to me, is very exciting if we got cooler toned things like a frosty taupe or silver. I just think it would be really interesting to see something on that cooler tone that would pair very well with the Glam palette. That is one of the things that I find that I struggle the most with the Glam palette, is finding the right thing to pair with it, because I'm looking at all my stuff and I have a lot of those warmer blushes and I do have some cooler highlighters, and not everything kind of pairs very well together. So I think the Glam face palette is an excellent move. It would have been cool to have seen that launch with the actual Glam palette. So we're probably going to see another mini launch with the Glam face palette, and it will probably pair with a couple of other things. There are some other mini Natasha palettes that I've talked about in the past. I think the mini Xenon is still coming, which is the silver and gray black palette that was leaked, the little mini. I think that is coming, and then a Glam face palette would pair very well with that as well, being cool tones. And finally, what you've probably been waiting for, the Ayanna eyeshadow palette trademark. So this, to me, is what instantly signified the colorful eyeshadow palette. So we do know for a fact that something colorful, or bright or unusual is coming from Natasha Denona in 2021. Shout out to the person who sent me the screenshot on Instagram confirming that she did respond to somebody's comment about this. So I'm just going to insert this here so you guys can see for yourself. She does confirm 2021 will be some sort of rainbow, bright, unusual color story eyeshadow palette. So I looked up Ayanna to see what it sort of translated to. There's a definition or meaning of African origin, which would mean beautiful flower. In Japanese, I found that Aya could translate to color or design, and Na could translate to that one or elegant, graceful, delicate. So I strongly believe this is going to be that rainbow unusual palette. I strongly believe this will be that colorful rainbow whatever palette in 2021, just with color right in that definition of the name. I can't see it being anything else. I did come up with 3 quick mock-ups. Let me just stress quick mock-ups. I didn't spend very much time on this. I just wanted to kind of have a visual to show you what I'm thinking for my 3 different theories of what this could be. Now, I definitely believe that this will be the smaller palette size. This will be the Glam palette size. Let me see, I think I have my Glam palette right in front of me. So it's going to be this kind of size. This is my bet. It's going to be this kind of size palette that's cheaper. It's got the smaller pan sizes, but you still have 15 shadows. So I did use this sort of as the template, not the specific palette, but I did use the smaller size palettes because they're more accessible than the other ones. Like once you pass that $100 threshold for eyeshadow palettes, it gets really crazy. And yeah, it's still very expensive, but it definitely brings it down to a level that makes it more accessible for people, because like a 65 US eyeshadow palette isn't that much of a stretch compared to other high-end brands. It is a little bit more accessible, and I don't feel like Natasha is going to go back to the bigger palettes with the bigger pan size. So I just think that's the sweet spot. I do have my notes in front of me as always, just to keep things organized, because it's impossible to remember all of this stuff. So I have 3 theories. They're not fully fleshed out concepts by any means, so don't take my mock-ups personally. I'll start with the least likely. So this is what I think won't happen out of my 3 theories, but obviously I would love either or any of these to happen. I just think this is the least likely. So theory number 3 would be vibrant and bold. Think the Viseart Editorial Brights palette. I don't think it will look like this because I don't think that Natasha will do an all matte satin eyeshadow palette, especially not in a vibrant color story. And I honestly doubt that the actual palette would be so bold like this. Natasha isn't afraid of color. I feel like that's pretty evident in a lot of her releases. They're not boring releases. I think people thought like, oh, the Glam palette's kind of boring, but a lot of the things she does incorporate color, and she showcases color a lot. But the average consumer would probably look at a palette like this and be really overwhelmed by it and be very intimidated. It's not something that's like average consumer friendly. And I do feel like that is a factor with Natasha's releases. Despite her being a makeup artist, despite pushing more of that artistry edge, she definitely wants to make money. And something like this might really appeal to some people, but not everybody. But that being said, I do think you will see a lot of cream to powder and creamy mattes, because those shadows will really benefit from that formula. I think that they're the color payoff, because the creamy mattes and the cream to powder shadows are so pigment intense that those beautiful, more interesting colors will translate very well. My second theory is something more reflective and fun and still vibrant. I would imagine a lot of duochromes. This is the fantasy. This is the fantasy. This is the thing that will not happen. But it would be cool to have that combination of those bright, vibrant rainbow shades with also unusual duochrome colors, because the unusual duochromes are what Natasha does so well, and to have those sort of paired with vibrant mattes in wonderful rainbow shades would be so cool. It's still probably a little bit too bright though, and probably still a little unwearable. I hate that term, but in general, if this actually is a real unusual color story or rainbow palette, it will on the surface seem a little unwearable despite doing all those beautiful colorful shadow shades, looks, whatever, you can pair it with other things as well. And I kind of hope that that's how it's approached, as like this is a companion for other things, and to encourage people to use what they have, like you use your other Natasha shadows because these will pair with it. I hope that's the angle, so we do get something unique that's not like 5 colorful shadows and like 10 shades of brown. So that brings me to my third and final theory, and the thing that I think could be the most realistic, which is a split, like half and half, with muted but still colorful tones, and then a handful of those more vibrant, like true to pan colors. So for example, you would see a matte mustard instead of a matte electric yellow, but maybe you would have more of a metallic yellow or metallic lime or something like that to kind of balance it. I do feel like a muted matte color would work for people overall, with the more intense like duochrome metallic electric shimmer shade, because people can use that as like a highlight or an accent thing as opposed to like a bright matte color, which is just kind of thinking from like an average makeup user's perspective and knowing that this is a business, so they're going to want to make money and try to appeal to as many people as possible. I'm thinking there will be a lot of trendy colors, and I think there will be a mix of warm and cool shades as well. Rainbow doesn't have to mean electric or pastel either. And it doesn't have to be just like a full rainbow of shades. It doesn't have to have an overwhelming amount of color, but I just hope the majority of it is colorful. So I could imagine it being a little bit more of a darker rainbow. I have high hopes for this, probably too high, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'd love to know what you guys think. What would you like to see? And what do you realistically think it will be based on other releases? Because that's what I try and balance when I do this, is kind of like, well, what my fantasy is, but also realistically, based on what has been sold before and based on the people who buy the stuff, what would people actually go for and purchase? Okay, so editing L here, I just discovered a potential Natasha Denona eyeshadow leak that was on the Sephora Sweden website, allegedly. This is the Triochrome palette, which actually looks fantastic and hits a lot of those notes that I thought the Ayanna palette would. And it's very exciting to see a variety of these trichrome shadows potentially. I mean, just based on the name, that's what I'm thinking. But I wanted to insert this really quickly so that you guys can see it first before it officially launches. Although I'm hoping I can beat the clock, because I just saw this come up. I saw it on a Twitter and I saw it on a Facebook post, and I quickly went and grabbed some screenshots. So anyway, this palette looks beautiful if the pictures are of any indication of what could actually come, and definitely makes sense. And it seems legit, especially because the leaks seem to come from a Sephora website. So what happened is that they probably put it up on the site sooner than they were supposed to, which means that it's probably going to launch very soon. All right, back to the regular video. And then I just have a handful of other trademarks that I thought I would throw in. I feel like a lot of the trademarks, they're really of the essence. So if I do the research and I don't get the video up right away, I'd have to go back and like verify everything to make sure stuff hasn't been released. So I did say I would do a drugstore one, and I still will do that. It's just there haven't been many trademarks for drugstore stuff, because when I had done the research on that, a lot of those things have since come out, and nothing very exciting or groundbreaking either. But I do have a couple more, like a little more expensive things. So there's a companion to Fix Plus coming from MAC called Fix Plus Stay Over. I'm hoping it will be a fixing spray as opposed to a setting spray like Fix Plus is. To have that companion would be really cool. I'm not quite sure what else Stay Over would mean, unless it was part of a Fix Plus line that also included makeup remover. I have a couple of theories, but none of them really seem to make sense, and I don't know why they keep expanding on Fix Plus. Like, Fix Plus is so good as it is. I don't think they really need to make changes to it, but I did find that and thought that I would mention it. Glossier has a trademark for something called Solar Paint, which sounded very intriguing, and I did initially think highlighter, but they already have highlighters in different packagings. They have the cloud paints though, which are blushes. They don't have bronzers. So I'm thinking solar paint, solar, sun, bronzer. It's going to be cream bronzers. I'm willing to bet money on this, that the Solar Paints will be in like identical packaging to the cream blushes, the cloud paints, and they're going to be bronzers. That is my strong suspicion. And finally, I found 2 unused Rare Beauty trademarks, Stay Vulnerable and Came to Play. Stay Vulnerable makes me think of something light. I know they already have foundation, and when Rare Beauty launched, there was a whole bunch of products. So there's nothing really that stands out to me that they're missing. I'm not too familiar with the brand, but I'm thinking something, if it's not skincare, I'm thinking it's something more like a tinted product, like a tinted moisturizer or some sort of light thing, because I think of vulnerable as being like showing your insecurities a little bit more, so that's why I think of like lighter coverage foundation or something like that. And then the Came to Play makes me think of something fun, something colorful, perhaps something glittery. They are missing that kind of thing from the line, so Came to Play, well, could be like colorful liquid liners, it could be some sort of like little glitter pots, something that people could use to like put glitter on their eyelids or some sort of body face glitter. Could also be little stamps. I thought it might be a little too cutesy, but I thought that it also might play in with like the whole free spirit, be yourself, also aiming towards a younger audience. And I know a couple other brands that have a sort of similar demographic to Rare Beauty have those little face stamps with like little hearts and stars, and those could be fun if they were in colors, different colors of them instead of just black. They had a couple of like colorful little stamps. You could have like little, like, you know, a red heart or something. I could see that being successful, and I could see people, the younger audience, really enjoying something like that. But I do think the Came to Play will have to be something fun. It just makes sense to me because when I think of the brand, I think of it as being something that would uplift you. And I know that one of the things that I've come across while watching like the Rare Beauty reviews is that the focus on mental health and, you know, kind of trying to fight against the stigma against mental health. And I feel like having something fun and playful that could be like, hey, this is something to help you feel good about yourself and also help you, like, encourage you to put makeup on or encourage you to play or whatever. I kind of feel like that fits in with the vibe. So I don't feel like it would be something very like you have to use this a very specific way. I feel like it would be something a little bit more looser. That's just my thought about it anyway. As always, I love to hear what you guys think, what you think about these different trademarks, what you think different things could be. Let me know if you want to see any other videos like this. If you have any specific suggestions or general suggestions, please let me know. I love doing research-based videos. I love digging into trademarks. I love digging into different sides of makeup. I love digging into makeup history, and I love exploring what's current and what has yet to come. I love looking in the future as much as I possibly can. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.